Hello there. Welcome to another episode of I've Got Questions. I'm your host, Kadie. Yeah, hostess with the mostest. No, new here, new everything. Who is this? I know, fabulous, right? But your girl is about to graduate and she need a new hairdo, all of that good stuff. But anyways, welcome again. Super happy to have you here with me because today I'm gonna share some information with you. Today is one of those days I'm going to talk to you. Having gone through a recent experience, I'm going to share my five whys. No, not my five whys, my five W's, I should say, for having a conversation. And yes, yeah, there. Yeah, there. I definitely have a script for having a conversation, and those fall, you know, into these five W's because over the years I have struggled with learning how to have conversations that are meaningful and not be scared to be vulnerable. That is something that is really, you know, guided me, but also who to be vulnerable with. And so for that, I came up, and we've all heard it, the five whys: the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. And today I'm going to share with you guys how I apply these five W's to having a conversation because again, I've learned that you don't need to share everything with everybody because whether we want to admit it or not, friends, family, or foes, not everybody has your best interest at heart. And some people just want to hear the information just so they can store it, to be used against you later. And I know we can all relate to having said something to somebody and then later go, oh, I wish I hadn't even, if I could take that back. But we all fall into that vulnerability category sometimes where we want to connect with somebody. So we share a little bit of something we've been through in hopes that it opens up that vulnerability and that shared connection and that shared trust to say, hey, you felt this. Here is something I have gone through. And you're not sharing it so that 6 months later the person can be like, you wouldn't believe what so and so said. And this doesn't even it's not even to go to social media or anything like that because truth be told you need to be mindful of who you share things with on social media and what you share on social media, but I feel like that's a whole other conversation with a whole other different loads of questions for a whole different day. But today, as I said, I'm going to share with you my five whys for conversating. Yes, there's five whys. First and foremost, let's start with the who. See, when you're sharing information, the first question you need to consider: who are you sharing it with? Your friend, your confidant, your brother, sister, uncle, family, social media, you name it. You need to analyze and note that each group of these people have different trustworthiness. See, different trustworthiness and different understanding. So, whilst I can say something to Mary Jane who understands me perfectly and who knows what I'm with, because Mary Jane has known me for 15 years and can put into context what I'm saying, I may not be able to say the same to Joe Jonko, who I just met 20 minutes ago in the grocery store, who's asked me about my life's journey. And I decided to tell him. Not sure why. I'm just saying, okay? You got to understand how easily things can be misinterpreted. And not everybody has the same processing level or level of understanding, as I said. So, when you think of the thing you are going to discuss, consider, is this the right person to be telling this to? Are they going to understand what I'm saying? Can they pick sense out of nonsense? Can they understand the context with that I'm sharing this with? Are they going to be able to think about this at the level that I want them to think about it at. You gotta evaluate the who very carefully, because as my granny would say, and everybody need to know what's going on in your head. Sometimes I think I don't need to know what's going on in my head because my thoughts be crazy. Thoughts be wild. Anyways, I digress. I come back to you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yes, it is imperative when you think about having a conversation that you focus on who you are having this conversation with. Because then everybody needs to know everything about you. And you don't need to connect with everybody. Because trust me, some people, them on a connection, them are crosses. Pure crosses and tribulation. Just send here for test you like Job. Just mm, mm, mm. So yeah, be mindful of who. My second second W is oh Lord. What are you sharing? See, I get caught in this trap a lot, because I love to connect with people. So it is very easy. Somebody come and tell me one story. I say, boy, say this one time this happened, and suddenly my brain goes, yeah, 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 yeah. I've been there too. I know this one time this happened to me, and then I was 5 squirrels and 2 ducks, and now I can't find the sheep, and the goat is missing. Oh my God, I like totally understand you. Yep, that's me. You gotta be mindful of what you're putting out. Whilst we acknowledge the who, it is also important to acknowledge what it is that you are going to tell this person. Because what you don't want is fast forward down the road, you go, Jesus, I should not have said that. I should have kept that to myself. That is not information I needed to broadcast to anybody. And again, we all go through those moments of vulnerability where we feel the need to share. Sometimes we overshare. It happens. But it is important to recognize that, again, not all information is created equally. And whereas they may be sharing with you because they're going through a state of vulnerability and they feel, yes, and I will say vulnerability a lot, just understand. You have to be mindful that truth and told, some details can have serious implications, you know, from misunderstanding to just probably causing harm. You didn't mean to share this information, but here you find yourself. You gotta be so mindful. We must think critically about the nature of what we are sharing, because it could have potential harm. And again, of course, it's not just to us, it's to other people around us. So the what is so important. Okay? Third, where? Where are we sharing this information? Now, when I say where, you might think, okay, social media. Yes and no. But let's say you are in a grocery store and some random person comes up to you and says something, and suddenly you find yourself giving them your whole life story. Here goes Joe Blow walking by and hearing you say something and decided, oh my God, I know that. Now I'm going to make it public service announcement. You see how this could become an issue? Whilst the who is important, the what is important, the where is also. You got to be environmentally intelligent. Yeah, add that one to the list. Understanding your surrounding. You're sitting at a dinner table. This may not be the time to be gossiping about the person whose birthday's dinner you're at, or baby shower that you're at, or saying something about time and place, people. Long story short, time and place. This ain't it. Okay? Time and place. Be careful of where you are having these conversations. Okay? Be aware of your surroundings. Got it? Look around, see if you see nobody before you divulge certain information, okay? Thank you. Now, number 4. when, when. Mhm. When is the right time to share certain information or information in general? You see, this one I had to learn again the hard way because you got to be in a state or in a place where mentally where you understand that timing is crucial for presenting information. It really is. We want to share sometimes because we are excited, because we're vulnerable or frustrated. Oh my God, this happened. I want, grrr! Or yeah, this happened. But often our emotions can cloud our judgment, and this leads us to regret sometimes. It really does. It is wise to consider whether it's the right time to share certain feelings or experiences. Because then you got to evaluate one, the who, the what, the where, before you even reach to the when. And I know it's a lot to process because you're like, you want me to think about this in the middle of having a. Trust me when I tell you, it'll save your life. Firstly, if you start with the who, you might not get to the rest of them because you'll immediately know on everybody you need to tell your business to. Which is what I say. So, understandable. You know, you got to take a moment to reflect really quickly, as I said. Go back to the first three, and if you are with the right person, you know, if you know what you're going to tell them, you are in the right environment to tell it to them, then noting when to tell them in that environment, then by all means. So, for instance, you're at a party, and there's somebody you don't really, you know, you might know them as a casual friend, and they come out of the bathroom, or you see them, you go to the bathroom, you see them coming out of the bathroom, and they got tissue or their dress or skirt or whatever it is isn't down. See, the right time to tell them is when they're in the bathroom, not when they come outside and I walk across the parking lot with tissue or collect to them. What is wrong with you? When was it the right time to tell them? Before they left the restroom. Just saying. You know who you are. hmm I'm looking directly at you. But I say that to say it is wise to pause and consider whether it's the right time, truly, to share certain information and certain experiences. Not everybody's going to receive it the same way. Not everybody is going to, understand why you did what you did. And I remember Simon Sinek, one of my favorite presenters, talking about him going to a friend's play, and when the play was over, the friend was like, "Oh my God, was it good?" And he had to analyze in himself, telling her the truth, but when to tell her, because at that moment she was experiencing the high of the play and all of that and so and so. Instead of lying, he said, "It was good to see you up there. It was great." Now, don't quote me because you might have to go look for that clip. But from what I remember, that's kind of the context. He was like, "It was good to see you up there. Glad you were able to do it." And then the next day, or a day or so after she'd come down off of the high of all that, he was able to be honest with her and say, "Hey, yeah, this is my true feelings towards this." So you got to be mindful again about when. Because whilst the thing that you may need to express may be required, you got to understand the who you're talking to, okay? The what you're about to tell them, the where you're about to tell them, and the when you're about to tell them, okay? And that leads me to my final. Whew. Oh, this one is one of my favorites. Why? Why? Why do we feel we need to share this information? Are we seeking validation, support, or simply we just need to try to connect with somebody? See, understanding our motives really, really can help us determine why we're having these conversations, good, bad, or indifferent. And again, this is a lesson that I have learned because it is so important to understand our whys. And I talk about that in a previous one when I talk about the who, what, where, when, and why. But this is the applying it to a conversation. Why? We often feel the need, as I said before, to connect. Yes, I get it. We don't need to connect with everybody. You're on the floor nor digital. You don't need to connect to everybody. Um, and if you are not able to understand why you're going to tell this to this person, maybe you shouldn't tell it to them. When you look back and you're analyzing and you're going, who is this person to me? What is this person to me? Where is this person going to do or go or say or all of them something with the information they're getting? When are they going to use this information? Why would they use this information? And again, I know it sounds crazy because you're thinking, you want me to step back and have this thought process before I have a conversation? Every conversation? Again, it might sound crazy. And this is my personal view. These are my personal advice on the matter. It may be difficult for you to do, but if you just take 2 seconds, okay, maybe five, before you open your mouth and think of the five W's before you start to talk, I feel like you'd find yourself having more meaningful conversations, sharing information that is actually what you want to share, not just connection, not just vulnerability, not just, no, you're sharing information that you actually are okay with. People knowing, people analyzing, people using as thinkers to go, oh, they said this and it really resonated with me. And now I need to either take action or I can move forward with my own decision, or it has allowed me the space to think more about the choices that I'm making. So understanding why really brings it home for me. I don't need to share and connect with everybody, as I said. And I don't think you do either. So be mindful. Be mindful. Because navigating the landscape of information sharing, it really, really requires you to consider these five W's. What are the five W's? Again, I am happy to share the who, the what, the where, the when, and why. And these are my personal steps applied using the five whys to have a conversation. And it's again my unsolicited advice. You don't have to take my word for it, but try it. I implore you to try it. Try it. Let me know how it works out in the comments. Email me, text me, tweet me, send me a messenger pigeon. Okay, the messenger pigeon I take too long now. I've seen some of you try that method, but it's taking a little while. So I'm gonna need you to try using more modern forms of communication. If I do ask, pretty please with cherries on top. Yes, more modern. Yes, more modern. So as I wrap up, I want to implore you guys again. Think about it. Every time you go out, you want to talk to somebody, apply the 5 whys. And I feel like you'll find yourself having more meaningful conversations. Okay? Until next time. Yeah. Because we're coming back. Yes, of course. Hello. I know my who, my where, my when, my what, and my what. So of course I'm going to be back to talk to you guys. Yes, man. So like, comment, subscribe, share. Share your thoughts with me in les comments, in emails, text messages, tweets, all of them good something there. And if you want to email me, you can email igotquestions.ktomas@yahoo.com. Yes, I got it down pat. I'm better at it. I'm better at it. Go ahead and email me. Tell me your questions, because Lord knows I have a lot of questions and we can answer them together. Okay? Talk to me, man. Let me hear what's going on with you and you can hear what's going on with me. But in the meantime, until we connect again, make note of your who, what, where, when, and why. And more importantly, stay curious. Lots of questions that are being asked, lots of questions requiring answers, and I'll be here for all of it. Okay? We'll talk soon.